Ty's also joining me in New York tomorrow. We're going to cover the primary day tomorrow. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is facing corrupt establishment stooge, Congressman Joe Crowley, who has the entire backing of the Democratic Party. Sound familiar? So we're going to cover that, see if there's any shenanigans at the polling places, which I expect there might be. From what I could see, we've been really, really focused on this one story, but everything I see on social media and all that, she's got a hell of a lot of momentum right now. I don't know if she's going to win, but she definitely has a lot of momentum. So we're going to...
You interviewed her at Netroots.
Netroots, I interviewed her. So we're definitely going to try and be eyes and ears in New York City tomorrow, make sure that it's a fair election, or at least show you if it's not. And Ty and I are going to be also brainstorming, because he's coming on with us for the foreseeable future. So what other places do we want to go? On the top of my mind, and I think he agrees, once I'm done getting this Flint story out, I actually want to take a few days off. But after that, I'd like to go on a little bit of a tour, because I think we need to stop normalizing the mass epidemic of mass shootings. I think we need to go into those communities once all the cameras have left and show you the victims' parents, the victims' families, the students that are still there, the faith leaders, the politicians, and we also need to show you who is now benefiting off of these shootings, including the NRA, gun manufacturers, because so often now you got the Parkland shooting, 17 dead, Santa Fe, I think it was 10, all these other shootings. Nobody talks about it anymore. Nobody covers it anymore. Nobody speaks with anyone in the communities. And there's going to be another one, God forbid, but there's going to be another one very soon. And no media, all the media descends when it happens and for a few days after, but nobody goes back to show those communities after. Nobody goes back to show the lives destroyed and things like that. Yeah. So that's something I actually wanted to do.
When was the last time, I haven't even heard anyone mention the shooting that happened at the church in Texas.
Sutherland Springs.
And
Nevada.
Just fell off.
And Nevada, just, not even a year ago.
Just back
58 killed at a concert.
God damn, that wasn't a year ago. We was in St. Louis when that happened.
Yeah.
And that was in October, I think, last year.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and behind the scenes, we're closer, I would say, to launching Status Coup. We have the website under construction right now. We're gearing up for that. Oh, and we didn't even mention Ty. We got enough footage that we're going to try and make a little mini doc of our reporting in Flint.
Yeah.
So we got...
I want to address, someone asked, why would any rich person live in Flint? And I think one of the residents, Fred, summed it up in his words. You don't live in the hood if you own the hood.
Yes. And I think that's the thing. Like, we ran into one person in particular, I'm not for sure, but he had bought up all these houses. Like, something's going on. Because remember, I forgot the guy, but he bought up, because you can buy these houses cheapest fucking $10,000, like $13,000. I don't know how that varies to the people that are watching, how does that compare to where you stay? But to where I stay, you can't even get a car for that much.
Right. Some houses you can get for under $1,000.
Yeah.
Period. And they're buying these houses up for a reason, not because Flint isn't what do they say? Buy low, sell high. Mm-hmm. They're buying low right now because ain't nobody buying it. At some point, they're going to get to a point where this whole thing is going to be reconstructed, and they're going to be able to make a lot of money off these houses. But people are buying this property up.
And also, we're not going to get into how we know they're cheating or what the specifics were, but we could tell you we did find quite a lot of patterns as far as who received their testing results back. Was it poor black people who got the test results back of their water sampling? And in most cases, they never got test results, which in itself is breaking the law.
And if they did get them, did anybody explain to them what this meant? Like, to the layman, it's fucking, I don't know, Chinese or something.
Right.
It's a foreign language. You don't get it if you don't know how to look at the levels and see what the numbers are and what that's it's really just a bunch of letters and numbers on a piece of paper. Right. And a person can tell you anything.
Right.
And as you will find out later that these people did tell the residents anything.
And by the way, you know, why I've always put like when I tweet and when I talk about this that it's still like an active crisis. How many people do we meet that are showing us rashes that they're having
right
now?
Right now.
I just spoke with someone via text who's telling me they're heaving and almost passing out when they get out of the shower, like today. So some people say, oh, well, there's a lot of water problems. Yeah, we could only do one at a time. We cover other stuff too. We'll be in plenty of other places. But the point is, if we let the government get away with not only poisoning citizens, but then lying about it after, lying about and basically prematurely declaring, you know, like Bush, mission accomplished. Let me tell you, it doesn't take long to realize when you're in Flint, not only is it not a mission not accomplished, not a lot has changed since this first got into the national discourse. And I think that there are some government officials that better be ready with a firm explanation for how they tested, because it was illegal. I think there's other people that better get ready who have supported the government's narrative that the water is fine, because we have proof that it's not. We have proof that it's not, and we have proof that there was deliberate cheating that went on. And like I said, I think it's going to be a domino effect. When this story gets out, I think you're going to start hearing a whole lot of people from other states saying, "Oh wait, they came into my home and they did it that way here too." So yeah, it was definitely a long trip, and there's also some interesting behind the scenes. We just happened to pick an Airbnb with like a lawyer who was already suing the state of Michigan for other things.
Doesn't work with the ACLU, but he's a pro bono lawyer who takes on a lot of cases that has to do with injustice, with the criminal justice.
So like he was basically like counseling us on specific things. And he was, you know, he's like a progressive hippie like us.
Ironically named after
Jefferson Davis.
Jefferson Davis.
But yeah, he was a great guy. So it's almost like fate landed us in this Airbnb.
And he spot oil pipelines.
Yeah, and one guy we interviewed, I can't wait till we get this footage out. It was almost like this guy like knew we were coming. Like he was a resident. We saw him outside. We saw him at the gate, the little gate of his property. And I said what I always say, like, "Hey, I'm a journalist. I'm checking if you got your water tested." And he was like, "Come on in." And we sat down. And I even said to him, "Did you know we were coming?" Because it's almost like he was like waiting for somebody to ask these questions, waiting for someone to stumble upon the information that we stumbled upon. And we must have sat there for like an hour. And he gave us gold.
It was out of a movie. It was very cool.
Yeah. So we're excited about this. I can't wait to tell you exactly what we found. I don't want to say yet because we don't want to give the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality, the governor's office, any clue what we found or any reason to make sure we're not found. No, seriously. The reason I was so silent is somebody that I trust in Flint said to me, "Oh, yeah, I won't say who, but there's some people at the state level that they've made people disappear, like permanently disappear."
Yeah, and we have very friendly residents say they're going to come after you. Like, we appreciate you, and we're like, that's okay. We're going to keep going.
And I can't tell you how many residents, probably because of Jen, because she's less grumpy than me, but said, "Oh, bless you guys, bless you, Jesus, whatever, for doing this." Because let me tell you.
They was telling him, "Bless you, Jesus."
Yes. Let me tell you, the local media in Michigan and Flint ain't doing nothing.
Our Moses.
I mean, the reason that we uncovered this, it's that old thing that they told you in journalism school, like knock on doors. We actually knocked on doors. Yeah. And obviously there was a lot going on while we were doing this. You had Trump and this barbaric, disgusting, vile policy of separating children from mothers. Mind you, majority of these children and mothers are refugees from Mexico, refugees from the drug war that we are sponsoring.
Yes.
By the way, we have an interview coming out about that.
Yeah.
Jeff articulated that very well, too, when he talked about that is an effect of American foreign policy.
Right.
What's happening, the reason that they're fleeing is because the amount of things that we allow to go on in Mexico and how much money we put in, because Mexico, that border, the drugs employ a lot of Americans. And so, like Chris Rock said, ain't no money in the cure, The
Right.
money is in the Band-Aid. The money is in the medicine. So if you don't cure the drug problem and you just make sure it's people there to control it, so to speak, then they have an incentive to keep things going. And that's what's fleeing, because when the drug cartel has control, they're, acting wild. It's like Wild Wild West over there.
Right.
That's all directed. It's specifically directed to our policy in Mexico.
Right.
Period. But he broke it down way
I think
better
the American,
than I articulated.
I think the American pharmaceutical industry got that from Chris Rock, because they got no interest in the cure.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we should also preview that this ain't a one night stand here. We're in this until we both can't stand each other anymore.
One night stand.
We plan on being on the road for quite a lot of the summer.
Yeah.
While the rest of people are vacationing, we got corruption to expose, we got injustice to expose, and let me tell you, folks.
I do have a wedding to go to.
Yeah.
This one day though.
I got 2 weddings. Let me tell you, the only reason we're here, and I don't say this in a cheesy way, I say it literally. The only reason we're here is because of the viewers.
Yeah.
We've gotten
That's right.
almost 160 individual contributions. I feel like I'm Bernie Sanders. We've gotten like 100.
160.
We've gotten 100.
Contribution that's at $21.97 each.
We got nearly 160 contributions. Some of them were $1,000, so that we could pay for Ty to fly here. We got to buy equipment. We're going to have to buy Ty a new computer, because he's got to edit this amazing footage into a documentary.
A computer. The computer I was using was the Young Turks.
Right. We're going to have to, we got a lot of things to buy, the Airbnb, the food, all those things. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you to everybody who's been contributing at jordanchariton.com/sponsor. I think when you see the story.
See me and Jordan sharing a meal.
Yeah.
That's how rough it is.
I think you, once you see the story out, you'll understand why we stayed there. You'll understand why we didn't reveal it, why we were discreet. And that might happen sometimes when we're digging into stuff that we don't want to make it public where we are, because we want to be safe.
Well, that's always, that's an executive decision.
Yeah.
Because I'm here. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah. Well, Ty, we'll talk about that at another time.
What?
Yeah, literally the money that you guys have sent in to sponsor and the patrons and stuff, you guys are the reason that this story is going to come out. You are the reason that the people of Flint, who are so thankful that we were there, their voice heard. This is going to make waves across the country.
You'll see. They'll see.
Yes, you will absolutely see. So it's all because of you guys.
And I also want to say, I think that why I wanted to launch Status Quo in the first place, obviously, first and foremost, to break stories, to help in whatever way we could help, to help people by exposing truth. But I also want to show, because I've heard from a lot of East Coast elitist assholes, many in the media, oh, that's so kind that you want to go cover like poor communities and do that stuff, but you'll never make money doing that. Well, I think we're showing that's wrong.
Yeah.
If you actually get out there and you actually put yourself on the line, you knock on doors, you uncover things that no one else is looking at,
The people will support
the
you.
people will support you. And it starts with Ty and I, Jen also, but we're looking long term to have other reporters, other producers, cameraman. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's going to take a while, but we are showing that if we do what we say, you're not always going to break a massive story, but the more you dig, let me tell you something. I would have never been able to break this story that we're about to break if I hadn't gone to Flint 10 times prior. It's the sources I built in Flint. It's the knowledge I acquired going there. It's the relationships I established that led me to what I found here.
I'll give you guys a little background tip. The hint that we got about this story came from a guy who looks exactly like John Locke on Lost, the TV show.
Yes.
And then from there, we knocked on 400 doors.
Yeah. So, but I think you'd agree that we wouldn't have been able to uncover this if we didn't have Melissa and the other sources that I was able to build a long time going to Flint back and forth.
Melissa Mays is a force. If you guys aren't familiar with her, look her up.
Right. And the goal is long term to create a media network with other reporters and this and that, because Ty and I are only 2 people, Jen's only 1 person. We need other people so we could be in multiple places at a time. We need breaks, and you can't go 24/7 all the time. But it starts with us, and I think this summer is going to be really interesting. I think we're going to cover a lot of things that no one is covering. Don't get me wrong. I, of course, think everyone should be covering what Trump is doing and the immigration.
It'll
and
be
all
a
that.
surgical summer.
Right. Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
We're gonna open up the country and go to surgery.
That's right.
Get in there.